Hello and welcome back to another video on SW Fight Hub. We are going to be predicting Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. It's a rematch of their UFC fight from a few years ago now, the original BMF title fight. They're fighting in boxing this time around. It's on Saturday night. It's in Anaheim, California. We've seen a big build-up. We've seen, big fights at press conferences between coaches, members of teams. It all seemed a bit more cordial last night at the press conference that they had for fight week. I'm no doubt we're going to see some weigh-in shenanigans between Masvidal and Diaz. My prediction for the fight, after having seen Diaz against Jake Paul, seeing Masvidal kind of piece him up a little bit in the UFC, I think Masvidal's going to win a fairly decent decision here. Nate's a good boxer for MMA style. I think Masvidal's a little bit quicker than him. I think he possibly, I think he has better timing than Diaz, in all honesty. I know a lot of people are picking Nate Diaz for this fight, but for me personally, I just think that Jorge Masvidal is going to get it done. Don't see a way in which he stops Diaz. Definitely don't see a way in which Nate Diaz stops Masvidal. Credit to both men. They're going to be getting a good payday from it. They both left the UFC. I believe Diaz will be going back to the UFC at some point. I really do. I think he'll maybe try and pursue the third Conor McGregor fight. But for Masvidal, I think his UFC career is probably done now. But yeah, for me, I'm not really that keen on the fight. I don't think it's, good to see two MMA guys just trying to make, money off boxing. These guys are fantastic mixed martial artists. They're not great boxers. We saw Jake Paul has only been boxing for a couple of years, dismantle Nate Diaz, drop him and win a fairly decent points decision. I know Diaz had his moments. His cardio kind of helped him through that fight, but Jake Paul was comfortable enough in that. I've no doubt the winner of this fight is going to be in line, whether it's Diaz for a rematch with Jake Paul or if it's Masvidal for a first fight with Jake Paul, which they both lose at quite convincingly. But, hopefully we get a good fight on Saturday night. I'm going with a Jorge Masvidal points decision. Let me know in the comments, guys, what do you think? Who wins this fight? Diaz versus Masvidal 2 this time in boxing. Thanks for watching.